Hey guys, this is Ashwin, and in this video we're gonna see how to create a Google SignIn button using Kotlin. This video has been requested by one of the commenters, and I just decided to do this video. So before we're gonna start, we're gonna set up our necessary Firebase dependencies by heading over to email and password authentication and setting up connecting your Firebase account locally, and also setting up your authentication so that your JSON files will all be set up properly. Then don't forget to add implementation of play services authentication right into your app.gradle file uh, so that you can get access to the Google sign in button. Then we're gonna create a sign in button right into our layout, which is of width 150 dp, and it's going to be of wrap content, and I'm going to create another ID for it called as the sign in button, and then I'm going to align it to the constraint of this layout. So this is just going to be a simple UI which has a sign in button, a text view to display the name of the person who has just logged in, and also a sign out button. So next I'm going to create a text view. uh, this text view is going to display the name of the person who's going to log in with their email account. So once I have just created this text view, I need to set up the constraints uh, for the text view and also the ID. So I just created a text view and a button. Now I'm going to set its font size, and then I'm gonna need a button to perform the sign out operation. This is also gonna be of 150 dp for width and wrap content for height, and I'm gonna set this text value to sign out, because we're gonna use this button to sign out of our Google account. Then I'm gonna set its ID as sign out button, and then sign out button, and then I'm gonna set constraints to this widget. So after setting up the constraints, I'm gonna set its visibility to invisible. By default, this button will be invisible as soon as the user is gonna log into his account, and the login operation is going to be successful. This button will be visible. So now we're gonna declare our widgets right into our main activity.kt. First I'm gonna assign my sign in button using a val sign in variable. I'm gonna set up my sign in button widget as, you gotta notice this thing right over here as sign in button, since we're gonna use Google Authentication. Then I'm gonna set and attach an on-click listener to this sign-in button to perform the sign-in operation. View, and then we're gonna create a method called as sign-in. Inside the sign-in method, I'm gonna write the necessary. We can rename this thing as sign-in Google, and inside the sign-in Google method, I'm gonna write the necessary logic needed to perform a Google authentication. So now I'm gonna create a late initiative variable called as mgoogle clients mgoogle sign in client, which is of type Google sign in client. The reason I'm gonna create a variable which is of type Google sign-in client is that it's gonna give us a Google sign-in platform through which we're gonna access our Google accounts. So Google sign-in client equal to Google sign-in dot get client. We're gonna get the client and set it to this activity, and using another variable called as Google sign-in options. This Google sign-in options is going to provide us a platform to switch over between our accounts and this Google sign in options is gonna be adapted to this the Google sign-in client. So we're gonna create a Google sign-in options variable as late initiate variable, and we're gonna declare it inside or on create method. So Google sign-in options is equal to Google sign-in options dot uh, builder, and then uh, inside that I'm gonna give pass on Google sign-in options, Google sign-in options dot default sign-in, and inside that, and then uh, we're gonna need a request ID token. We're gonna need a request ID token from our account. So that in the form of string, so that I'm gonna pass on a get string function with r dot string. Oh, no, not this string. The strings s should be of lowercase, or dot string dot default web client id, and then and then I'm gonna need a request email function. This is the main function because we can access our Google accounts through our email IDs. So we're gonna request an email ID to our Google sign-in options, and then we're gonna build this Google sign-in options using .build, and finally we're gonna use the Google sign-in client to wake up these Google sign-in options so that we can select multiple accounts, multiple Google accounts. So that we could select a particular Google account from multiple accounts. Then we're gonna write the sign in logic right into the sign in Google function value sign in intent, which is gonna be of intent, and I'm gonna initialize this to m Google sign in client dot sign in intent. So then we're gonna create start activity for result. Inside that we're gonna pass sign intent comma rc sign in. This means request code sign in, and I'm gonna create a value request code sign in which is gonna be of type integer. Yes, it's gonna be of type int, and I'm gonna initialize this thing to 1, and then we're gonna start a method called as on activity result. Inside this method I'm gonna call on an if statement and compare my request code with this rc sign in. So if these two are gonna be equal, this that means something's gonna happen when the user has selected his account, and we're gonna log him into his account using his Google account. Then we're gonna create a value called as task value called as task, which is of type Google sign in accounts, and I'm gonna initialize this one to Google sign in Google sign in dot get signed in account from intent. So as soon as the user is gonna sign in using that intent value, we're gonna pass on his account in the form of a data, and in this on activity result, we're gonna handle that data using get signed in account from intent in the form of a task, and I'm gonna create another function called as handle result, and I'm gonna pass this task into this handle result, into this handle result function. So we're gonna call this augment parameter as completed task, uh, which is of type Google sign in accounts. So I'm just passing in this account in the form of an intent, and I'm gonna handle that result inside my handle result method. Then I'm gonna set a try catch block to in order to prevent some API exceptional errors, and then we're gonna write our main logic into a try block. in this handle result method. So I'm gonna need a value called as the account. Uh, this account is gonna be of type Google SignIn account. Yes, it's gonna be of Google SignIn account. I'm gonna initialize this thing to completed task dot get result. And now I'm gonna set an API exception class to this. So now we have received our account, and we have saved it into and sorry, we have passed it into a variable value called as the account. And in the catch block, I'm gonna set a toast in order to find any exception errors is gonna happen. And this is not a great way to go to set a toast right inside the catch block, but since this is an experimentation purpose, we're gonna set it into a catch block. Then I'm gonna create an update UI function right into my try block and set this account value as a parameter into my update UI method. Then I'm gonna declare this update UI method and pass on the value. Wait a second, now I'm gonna pass on this account as a parameter, which is of type Google SignIn account. Then I'm gonna initialize my display text view widget right inside this update UI method and call in its respective IDs as text view. So I'm gonna set this text view with a value of my display names of my users accounts display name, and then after sign in I should make that sign out button to be usable. So for that instance I'm gonna declare a late initiate variable sign out which is of type button, and I'm gonna declare this widget right inside my on create method. Let's declare this widget right inside our on create method as sign out is equal to find me by ID. Wait a second. What if I gonna give this thing as value? It's not gonna work probably since it need to be initialized. So I'm gonna give it as a late initiate variable. So inside my onCreate method, I'm gonna give sign out is equal to find view by ID or dot ID dot sign out button as button, and yeah, I just forgot it to give this view right over there. Oh God, just given the view. So now we're gonna call. So now we're gonna set the visibility of this sign out button as view dot invisible as no, not that, as view dot invisible as the default when the onCreate method is gonna run. So then whenever the user is gonna sign into it, we're gonna set its visibility as view dot visible, and then when the user is gonna click on this sign out button, then we must remove the value. So then we must make the user to sign out of his or her account using Google SignIn client dot sign out, and then I'm gonna attach an add on complete listener. So when my sign out process is gonna complete successfully, I'm gonna check in using these tasks. Like I'm gonna set my display text value with an empty space, and then I'm gonna set the sign out button's visibility to view dot invisible. So I'm gonna make it again as invisible so that the user signs out. So that's it on our coding part, and then head on to your panel console and make sure that your Google SignIn It's enabled, and now we're gonna run our application. My emulator has already been up, so the gradle bar is building up, and since this is a small form, I'm just designed as normal UI, so don't bother it. So this is how Google SignIn works using Kotlin in Android device. So we're gonna sign into one of my accounts, and as you can see, my name is appear on the text view, and I can sign out. Name is explained in the text view, and also the sign out button, and now I can sign in, sign out. So all these things are working properly. So this is how Google this thing works, and as of I say, the code to this project has been available down in the description, and please do subscribe to my channel. If you like this video, share this video. If you have any doubts, leave it in the comments, and as of I say, do hit the subscribe button. See you in the next video, guys.